Hey guys, Sullivan here. So I think this is going to be a little bit of a different sort of video. It's gonna maybe feel a little bit like one of those like get ready with me from like a beauty vlogger or something like that, I think. But I have beautiful stuff to make into a bouquet kind of just for myself, and I'll tell you why sometimes I do that. And then talk about just being over scheduled and overextended and making time for things that feel good. So, all right, let's see what I make with all this pretty stuff. I had bought this preserved oak. I don't actually know if it's preserved, dyed, tinted something. It has like a waxy texture to it. I think it's dyed, just looking at the inside of the stem. But I had bought it thinking maybe I could get some orangey bits out of it to use in my wedding that I had a week ago. And it just ended up feeling too fall. They were still going for this like kind of fresh white, blue, orange palette, and it would have made the bouquet too dull. So I decided to put it aside, and because it's tinted, preserved, whatever, magic, it has lasted. It's like almost 2 weeks old now. All right, so since this foliage was really the basis, I'm gonna spend a little time prepping some pieces, but I just loved the like mustard golden color of all of this. And I thought it would be interesting to do a fall pastel bouquet, which I think everyone sort of gets hung up on like harvest colors and pumpkins and orange and all of that stuff, and that's really fun, but it's only September, and even though pumpkin spice latte is like the new Christmas season, they just like push fall forward, which I love because I love fall weather. I love jackets and boots and scarves, but there's still so many pretty kind of summer things going around. So this is probably going to be a rather oversized bouquet, and I think I'll make it a bridal bouquet shape because I can always just pop that into a vase. I hear a cat under here eating grass. Yeah, stop. So, not me chewing. Cat. This stuff kind of smells. It probably wouldn't make a great bridal bouquet. Maybe for editorial. It's got some tape on it. Yeah, I know everyone thinks flowers are so beautiful, but I gotta say there are lots of things about flowers that are really quite gross. Slimy, smelly, mushy. There's really like nothing like the smell of emptying a bucket that's been forgotten in the corner for a while. All right, that looks like a good amount of foliage. All right, so it looks like a beach. I don't know. I grew up in an apartment, so I'm not so great with the tree names, but this is a piece that would be too short for the bouquet, but I like to save all the little bits, and I will make something out of them. I cut some basil that has flowered. It's really pretty. And I cut some butterfly weed that this leaches out a milky sap that is sticky and gross. When you're making a bouquet, you want to make sure you clean off, just like if you're making an arrangement, you want to clean off any leaves that will be where you're gripping. Maybe she'll come up here. This really pretty brown Lysianthus. There are a few of these going around. I can't remember what region this one's from, but I would say rather than thinking of it as a brown, it's more like a smoky purple. I know that my videos have been like a little less like how to and more just kind of like watch me work, and I think that that is because light pink is still be. I think that's because I feel like I can tell you to put A here and B there and do X and then do this, but really the only way you're gonna be able to learn to make floral designs is to practice. This is called Butterfly Ranunculus. It's so pretty. It's been around for a few years, but it was super, super expensive when it first came out, and now they're growing it in a few parts of the world. I definitely don't need all of this. I'm gonna try to find the more pinky. All right, so that's a pretty good basis of like grass and fluffy things and spray flowers and that kind of stuff. And I do have my dahlias. But I also have these like incredibly beautiful. Why is purple so hard to get on camera? They're like this super, super pretty tea-colored lavender. This is how behind schedule I got today. I didn't even take these out of the paper. So this is how roses come in 25 stem bunches for florists. All right, so I have prepped my materials. So I've got my couple different types of foliage. I unwrapped and cleaned some lavender snapdragons. I have got my astilbe, I've got my lisianthus, I've got my butterfly ranunculus, I've got some grass, I've got probably far too many of these roses that are called Andrea. Hey, Ange. And I'm going to just start making a bouquet. And then I do have some delphinium, but it might be too blue, so I'm not sure if I'm going to use it. And then if you see me turn around and go like this, I have a mirror up on the wall. It's very hard to see in these monitors, so I'm going to be looking at the shape up there. And so yeah, I really don't know that I would consider this like a how-to video. I definitely will not call it that. I think that to get good at flowers, your best bet is to just practice a lot. And you kind of have to just like mess around with stuff to see what you like. But I'm essentially just grabbing the first couple of things in a loose handful. You can see I'm just holding things very lightly. Oh, that piece is not happy. I tend to make a very like kind of forward facing, meaning everything kind of spills forward. I probably can't do it because of my table being in the way, but I always think of my bouquets as sort of model off-duty casual. I really don't like it when you can't see the person and they're holding this giant bouquet. So, because I really think the bridal bouquet should be an accessory. Generally, people spend a lot of time and effort on their dresses, so we don't want to detract, but more enhance. So the other thing you'll see me do like 8 million times is I cut my stems pretty much continually while I'm working. It keeps the weight off the bouquet, like kind of off the stems, and makes it a little easier to turn things around. After I get a kind of rough shape with a few of my foliage elements, I like spray flowers. And you can see I'm still kind of keeping things in that loose spiral. I'm feeding things in from the outside, but keeping my stems kind of, and I always turn the bouquet in the same direction. You should really make bouquets either like looking at yourself, or often when I'm not doing it for camera, I am looking into a mirror, because you want to think about how it's going to fall. I don't really like the way these buds are looking, so I may end up cutting all of those out. And I realize that it appears I'm doing this extremely quickly. I'm not really explaining every step, and what can I say? It's why this video is not called How to Make a Bridal Bouquet, but more like Watch Me Make One. You really just have got to practice and do it again and do it again and do it again. I feel like I've done this thousands and thousands of times. It's probably more like hundreds and hundreds. I don't really know. I wouldn't know how to quantify that. But I do know that I had to make a lot of tight, round bouquets before I could start feeling like I could loosen up and start making different shapes, and also getting my clients comfortable with the idea that they may not get, you know, they might not know what the bouquet would look like until they, till I deliver it. I really try to let the materials dictate the shape. I love this piece, but it's... So the other thing that you can do once you've started adding some stuff is see if it will stay in that shape or if it kind of wants to be a different shape. The Lisianthus is kind of short, so maybe I can't do the kind of tipped forward cascade. Maybe I have to drop a flower on the ground and then sort of start changing the shape so it's more like this. We shall see. This will still be... is super wimpy. I'm glad I got the... So whenever I get a stem that has like an interesting curve like this, you want to try to find a way to use it, because when you're trying to make dynamic shapes, that kind of stuff really helps you. You can see I'm just laying it on the outside of my hand so that I can even turn it where I would like it to go. I never realized how much I like touch my face or clear my throat until I started making YouTube videos. So yeah, actually that was gonna be one of the things. I wanted to make a video about the status of being too busy or overextending yourself, or you know, how everybody's like, it's like a status symbol to like have a side hustle and to have so much going on. And I was trying to make this video all week and I kept getting busy, which, you know, is so poetic. But I think it does tie into making videos, and I had to make space in my schedule to do stuff like this, like just to make flowers for myself or for a video or make a YouTube channel, or I wrote a TV series and I've been attending like conferences and workshops and trying to figure out how to make it. And I met some like really, really awesome women this past week who were super encouraging and made me feel like just keep going, even though it feels like it's becoming like a second full-time job. And so, you know, my original intent was to talk about making time for the things that you want to do. And making this bouquet was one of the things that I wanted to do. And I really had a hard time making time to do it because I needed to set up the camera and I will need to edit it. You know, I like to think that my YouTube videos look pretty good, but I worked really hard. I went back to UArts, where I dropped out, to take film classes and learn how to use camera and do all this stuff that I've always wanted to do, and I just had to make space to do it. And I was taking these classes on Tuesday nights and getting up and going to the flower market at 3:30 in the morning. So at the same time as I'm like sitting writing this like personal essay that I was gonna do as like a creative entrepreneurship talk, which ended up being part of the just watch me work and listen to me talk video that we're having now, I realized that, you know, come here. What are you doing? You ruined that shot. This is really pretty. And since I know none of you guys have worked in a workroom with me, I don't say something's really pretty to pat myself on the back. It's just nice because you look at all the flowers sitting on a shelf when you're shopping at the market or in a shopping cart online, depending on where you're getting your flowers from, and you really know if they're gonna work. And this is really working. So couldn't find the tape. Being a one-woman show, there is no crew that comes in and makes sure that you have all your supplies everywhere. It would be so great if I could teach the cats to do that. I'm using green stem wrap tape. If you're not in flowers, it's sort of like a waxy, thin crepe paper. It tears really easily. I don't like using rubber bands. Some of the designers that I think are so good, like Ariella Chazar, she uses rubber bands in this like really cool way, in like a layered way that helps her keep control of the bouquet. But I just get, I don't know, I'm all like butterfingers with the bouquets, so, or with the rubber bands. It's kind of fun how many of the dahlias look good with this palette. I don't know how many I'm gonna be able to use, but they do look good. All right, we've suffered a loss. I just broke the dahlia I was very excited to use. Rose, what are you doing? But that's not so bad. R.I.P. Cafe Ole. I'll wait till more of you grow and I'll make another bouquet. I think that cream might be too cream. It's definitely the end of the day. I have no more words left to describe things. You're in trouble when you're describing the flower that's cream as true cream. I think this one is called Randy Dawn. It's more pink than I would have thought, which seems to be the theme of all my dahlias this year. They're all different, slightly different colors than I thought they would be, but it looks really good with this palette. you can see, even though I'm kind of feeding the flowers into the bouquet, I'm still making sure that my stems are going on the outside so that I can move them around if needed. That's when they start to get really heavy and hard to hold. There's a chance that if you put it in, it will make bunny ears or Google eyes. Alright, it's like the end of the day on Friday. Tim just came home, so I'm gonna wrap this up. Alright, so I didn't end up using the Astilbe because, well, it is really pretty. I gotta wrap this again though. Alright, so here's how you can rest your hands. I know there's no water in it, but my hands, this hand is like numb. Actually, I didn't think that I would be, well, I kind of need one more piece of foliage here because the one thing I'll say about bouquets is that you never really know how they're going to hold them once you give them to a client. And if they decide to hold it this way, it looks like it has a bald spot. So I could, this is why you don't wrap it super tight. I could move that rose down a little and add this in. It's pretty pretty. All right, I think we're gonna call that done. Now for half a roll of tape. All right, so we're taped. Actually got some water in the vase now. But yeah, that is it on this bridal bouquet. I will pick a ribbon and wrap it off camera. I feel like a beauty vlogger saying, I'm gonna do my eyebrows off camera. I'm gonna do my ribbon off camera just because it's getting dark and I'm losing the light, and then we'll do the finale shots in daylight tomorrow since I was working on this for so long. The sun has set. And sorry, I have grass in the house, and the cats go crazy whenever this is here. So if I seem distracted, it's because I'm probably being circled by a vicious clouder. That's what a pack of cats is called. Clouder, like chowder with an L. Do you like it?